Hey everyone, what's up? I hope you're all doing great. I am back with another video, and this is part 8 of my story. So let's get into it. Alright, so in the last part, I talked about how I kind of started to lose some pieces of myself after I was getting into some very unhealthy and toxic relationships. So I talked about how that really took a big toll on my mental health, on my happiness, and on a lot of different things. And that was something that was really difficult for me to deal with. So, in today's part, we're kind of going to talk about what I did from there, how my journey continued onward, and yeah, really just kind of how I learned to start loving myself again. So, I'll start this part by saying that my journey to learn to love myself again is a huge part of my story and is something that I could talk a lot about, and it's really important to me. Um, s- I just want to help other people to learn to love themselves also, and I realized that there's just nothing that can replace feelings of self-love in your life. And yeah, we'll start to explore that a little bit more. I'll be touching on this in a lot of the subsequent parts of this story because it all kind of, factors in. But yeah, I really want to start talking today about what that journey was like for me. So, yeah, this was around the end, getting towards the end of high school now, where, like I said, I'd done these events, challenge day, other things, been part of organizations that had a big impact on me. I've met many people, made many friends who changed my life in a lot of ways, and had a hugely positive impact on me. And I'd also at this point been committed for some time to my service to others, which manifested itself in ways such as me starting and running Be the Change Club at my school, me taking on a number of leadership positions at my school, all that's great stuff. And also me trying to reach out to as many other people as possible to be their friend so that I could build a support network that way, both for myself and to help other people, because I wanted to, like I said before, help people through their feelings of isolation and loneliness, the way that I had been dealing with those feelings. And through that, yeah, also made friends with people who only wanted to take advantage of me and drain my energy, and how that really hurt me. So I didn't know what to do when I first kind of realized this happening. Um, I didn't really know how to talk about it, or I kind of just kept it to myself, really, that people were treating me this way. I think one of the main reasons for that was because I've always just, I've wanted to, be the strength for other people, but, and not, come off as weak, I guess, which I know is really bad and not a good way to be at all. And it's something that I've really, ever since then made a lot of progress in overcoming, still working on that. But, you know, I I don't want to be that way where I'm just, always projecting that pillar of strength, but I'm never letting anyone else in. That's not going to help me or anyone else really. So I've learned from that. But anyway, um, yeah, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that I was being hurt. I was really being drained, and I knew I needed to do something differently, or I would not be able to keep going on like this. I was having even more mental problems. I was getting depressed, which I'll talk more about in other parts. Um, I just, but I really just didn't feel like myself anymore. Like, the joy was draining out of my life, and I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to gain my sense of energy, my happiness, my passion and enthusiasm for life back. yeah, so that I could share it with others and use it to help them, but also just because I needed it for myself. And I think that that's kind of when I realized that I won't be able to do this unless I love myself and take good care of myself. So, yeah, it was close to the end of high school when I really just it clicked in my mind that I needed to love myself to the fullest if I wanted to be able to spread that love to other people. Um, there's a quote I think by Lucille Ball. I love Lucy. I think it's by her. If I have that wrong, then sorry, but I'm pretty sure it's from her. It says, when you learn to love yourself, everything else will fall into place. I think that's how the quote goes. Hope I got it right. And I remember I came across this quote right around that time, and it helped me again to realize how important it is for me to love myself. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to love myself again the way that I feel that I had back in the past, back before I started feeling these feelings of isolation, and when I still, you know, when I was at the peak of that level of happiness and joy. I wanted to get back to that. Um, except the thing is that I realized that we're not really taught how to love ourselves. Like everyone says that we should love ourselves, but it's not really like we're not all taught that, at least not explicitly. So when I first realized that I needed to do this, I was at a loss for how to do it. I mean, I started to I was like I'll say like when I first, thought about this and when I first heard that quote, I was immediately like, okay, yeah, yeah, I love myself. I do love myself. And I kind of thought that just, thinking that to myself would be, I guess, enough, but it takes so much more than that. I came to realize I needed to be committed to my own self care, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I needed to learn how to put myself first, how to set boundaries with other people, how to stand up for myself when people were not treating me right. And those weren't really things I'd had practice with. I mean, firstly, because I never really felt the need to do those kinds of things, but now that I did have the need, I realized that I never was really taught exactly how to do it or even the importance of doing it. So that was definitely like a learning curve for me. I realized I had to just, kind of practice it, and it was not easy. It took years for me to get from there even up to where I am now, and I'm still practicing it, as many of us are. I'm still kind of learning on how to do that, still practicing it. But, that was when I really knew that I needed to be able to do that if I was to keep my own health and happiness while continuing to serve others. I needed to learn how to balance it, my own needs, my own desires, and those of the other people I care about and want to help. And it hasn't been an easy journey. It's involved a lot of soul searching and figuring out what I feel is right, really looking into all the corners of my heart and my mind and my gut to figure that out. But I am learning. I am making progress and I am working on it. And I've become committed to working on it. It's not always easy, but I am committed to loving myself as fully as I can so that I can give that love to other people. And yeah, even though it gets hard, I stay committed. I want to keep going with that. And yeah. Again, there's lots more I could talk about with this topic. Proper self-care, you know, setting boundaries, things like that. I can and will do entire videos, just on around things like that. But yeah, today I wanted to give kind of an overview of at least the beginning of my journey to love myself, and there will be more parts to that part of my story. Um, but yeah, and here's how I will wrap up this video. I'm gonna wrap up this video by saying that one of the very biggest things that I've learned on this journey, or that I've had to kind of learn and internalize, was being able to accept every part of myself, to accept myself for who I am, for the way I am, accept my story and my past and what I've been through. And that in itself has been one of the hardest parts and one of the biggest challenges. Also just accepting all of my feelings and emotions as they rise up, even if I don't particularly like them. Just, not shooting them down outright, not rejecting them, just finding a place where I can kind of just sit with them and be with them. Because even the really ugly and unpleasant thoughts and feelings, they're still part of me. I have to accept that. So, yeah, it's kind of how I wanted to end off the video. And then in the next part, we're actually going to talk more about accepting those times when it got really hard to accept myself. Because I do want to really take you all through my story of how I dealt with feelings of anxiety and depression. And we're going to talk about that in the next part. So, I know this was a little bit of a heavier part. They are starting to get more like that now. The next one also is. But just like my story itself, it's there's kind of gonna be happier and more energetic parts, and there's gonna be some slightly sadder parts. But that's life. And that's what I want this series to reflect. So thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and also check out my companion series to this over on my TikTok account. The information's down in the description. And check out my other social media for more on the story. Let me know if you want to be part of the group chats to discuss. And thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate the support. Alright. See you all in the next one. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.